Promises, promises, promises. A track record of broken promises the Labour and Greens hope we have forgotten about this election. After years of broken promises from these guys, how can we believe they will deliver progressive, practical and proven government in the election? They have only demonstrated a worsening trend of wasting taxpayers' money on failed and delayed projects, practically proving we can't trust a word they say. With an election marketing motto of progressive, practical and proven, it should instead read progressively worse, practical in changing the goalposts, and proven in being incapable of delivering. The ST government under the Lib-Green alliance has an appalling track record of keeping election promises, delivering absolutely abysmal results. This is what happens when lifelong politicos and academics with no real-world experience are tasked with implementing complex programs. They are clueless and unable to deliver anything, crippling their territory. Once elected, they are very distracted by overseas trips, photo opportunities, grandstanding, protests and spreading misinformation. Attorney General Shane Rattenbury is especially adept at misinformation, making governance in the ST seem like amateur hour. Take for instance Rebecca Bassarotti entering the Assembly wearing a kafka, Emma Davidson never addressing her portfolio's concerns, and Shane Rattenbury condemning the ANU for requesting a protest move for public safety reasons within 2 days, yet taking 5 months to respond to a grieving father who lost his son in a car accident. Rattenbury only responded after it was escalated to the Chief Minister. The Greens-Labour alliance paints a false narrative through glossy ST government brochures. It reminds me of Jake Gyllenhaal's lecture in the film Enemy. Control. It's all about control. Every dictatorship has one obsession and that's it. In ancient Rome they gave the people bread and circuses. They kept the population busy with entertainment. But other dictatorships used other strategies to control ideas and culture. They lower education, limit culture, censor information and restrict individual expression. This is a pattern that repeats itself throughout history. This describes the last 12 years of the ST government perfectly. We have a tram and a progressive brochures, but not much else. Let's look at the current Green-Labour record. Despite their current fallout, they are absolutely joined at the hip. The election commitments and announcements they have not delivered. Increase in social housing and tackling homelessness. Public housing has decreased and homelessness has worsened in the ACT. Affordable rental properties. Canberra is the least affordable rental city for low-income individuals in Australia and second for rental affordability behind Sydney. The Southside Hydrotherapy Pool in Tuggeranong, not started. Athlone Drive duplication, not started after being pronounced for 8 years. The Reintegration Centre at the AMC, cancelled. The new ice rink, not started. A new basketball stadium, not started. Commencing a new Canberra stadium, not started and on to its 8th review. Planning and commencing a new exhibition centre, not started. Removing stamp duty, only for first home buyers. Promising a return to budget surplus, never happened under a Barr government. Increased numbers of teachers, no increase, and falling. Increased nursing and other medical staff, not delivered, but are promising 800 new staff this term. Increasing access to GPs and more bulk billing. Instead, remove payroll tax exemption, resulting in higher medical costs in the ACT, which is the highest in the country to attend your GP. Reducing reoffending. It's higher than 12 years ago and is not being reported correctly. Protecting frontline workers, Rambos, police and our fireys. This was rejected when tougher laws were proposed to protect those frontline workers. Timely trauma support, rejected. Support for those involved in severe trauma or death incidents have natural resilience. Review of bail has never been published. Review of sentencing comparisons with New South Wales, which was promised, never published. Fairer, faster and more comprehensive support through a new CTP scheme. The scheme is a disaster. Increased shelters and housing for victims of domestic abuse. Planned for the next assembly period, but to be funded by the Commonwealth. Additional elective surgeries and reduced waiting times. Getting worse. Free meals at schools for every child, only in a pilot scheme and to be extended to only 20 schools in the next term. A walk-in centre for Coombs, not started. Balongala Library, not started. Narrabundah College upgrade, not started and now due in 2027. Northside College expansion, planned for the end of the decade. North Gungahlin High School in Taylor. The first cohort of Year 7 will commence in 2025. The Strathnairn ELC and Primary School, planned for 2023, but only planned to open in 2025. The Big Canberra Battery, not started. Gorman House upgrades, due in 2022-24, has not commenced. The Epic Community Facility upgrades, design phase and not started. Our electric bus fleet, delayed and barely commenced. Northside Elective Surgery Centre, cancelled. A new facility for the RSPCA, not started. The FOGO, or Scrap Food Recycling Programme, still in pilot and not likely to be extended for another 2 years. Improved skateboard facilities, not delivered. Reducing Indigenous incarceration. This has increased by over 250% in 12 years of Green's Labour government. An independent review of Indigenous incarceration promised in 2020, started in 2024 when the report is just out. Addressing pokey machine reforms, not started. The Gungahlin Tennis Facility, in development plan stage and not started. Meeting the tree replanting and replenishment targets. It's been announced this will not be met. Ending homelessness is worsening in the ACT and is one of the worst rates in Australia. Implementing NDIS-funded public housing upgrades for people with disabilities, not started despite government funding being available since 2019. Reducing reoffending, going up despite false claims from Shane & Co. Improved bus services, they've been reduced to fund the tram. An HR system upgrade failed despite $78 million spent. Digital health record delivered with reduced functionality and budget overrun. Reduced utility prices, all have significantly increased. Better development and planning processes, in a shambles. Electronic tagging of offenders requires legislation, pilots and reports. An effective integrity commission, not achieved. Improving our courts' performances. We have the worst record in prosecutions and the highest cost per case. Reduced costs of corrections. We have the highest per person costs for prisons in Australia. Improved literacy, falling levels and lower than 20 years ago. Now we have ST Green's leader, Shane Rattenbury, claiming he has a genuine chance of being the next leader. I won't even start on their printed money, grown in trees commitments, as they deny reality. Our Chief Minister picks up over $400,000 a year salary plus a $25,000 car allowance. His minister, made up currently of 3 Greens and 6 Labour, pick up $320,000 a year plus the allowances, yet their performance is abysmal. If this list of failures doesn't convince you to ditch these self-serving, conceited and hopeless politicians, then nothing will. Recently, they have promised a new bikeway, second-hand Sundays, a $2 million package for venues, the expanded school meal programme, $26 million for school literacy and numeracy, $50,000 teacher scholarships, $150 million to upgrade school facilities, double hours for free 3-year-old preschool starting in 2028, a new breast cancer clinic, a mums and bubs mental health unit, free medical imaging, free health centre builds, $15 million to boost bulk billing, nurse-led clinics at colleges, additional nursing and mental health professionals at schools, a new multi-storey car park at the Canberra Hospital, a new aquatic centre, an $8 million package for apprentices, free school camps for public students, a transformed Yamba Drive entrance at the Canberra Hospital, electronic monitoring of offenders, fare-free Fridays in public transport and a new Tuggerong Health Centre. Hundreds of millions of dollars in promises, yet no commitment to reintroduce a trauma support service that they cancelled in 2016, despite 2 recommendations from the Justice and Community Safety Standing Committee. The government's response was that people have natural resilience or existing support networks, refusing to fund this trauma support. It's time to demand better from our politicians. It is time for a change.